Hey guys, today I'm going to read to you about food chains and food webs. This is from a book called What Are Food Chains and Food Webs? So it gives you a pretty good summary of all the information you need to know about the topic. And I want you to make some Cornell notes to go with this information. So remember, Cornell notes are divided into 3 parts. One part is facts and important vocabulary words that you're learning. Another part is questions. And the third part is your summary. Let's go ahead and begin reading. What is a food chain? All animals eat other living things. Some animals eat plants. Others feed on the plant eaters. For example, lettuce is eaten by a rabbit, which is eaten by a wolf. This pattern of eating and being eaten is called a food chain. There are countless food chains, and every plant and animal belongs to at least one. A food chain includes plants, a plant-eating animal called an herbivore, a meat-eating animal called a carnivore, an animal that eats dead animal bodies called a scavenger, and tiny creatures or decomposers that break down dead plant or animal remains. Pause the video and go ahead and write down at least one fact from this page. Food chains connect. When an animal from one food chain eats a member of another food chain, 2 food chains connect. The diagram on the right shows 2 food chains connecting. The chipmunk and the mouse eat both nuts and berries. The mink and the owl might eat a chipmunk one day and a mouse the next. When food chains connect, the pattern is called a food web. Food webs usually include many plants and animals. Food webs and ecosystems. Each ecosystem on Earth contains many food chains. An ecosystem includes all the plants, animals, and non-living natural things, such as sand, rocks, and soil in a certain area. Deserts, forests, coral reefs in the ocean, and African grasslands, called savannas, are examples of different ecosystems. All the living things in an ecosystem are connected in a food web, and they depend on one another for survival. In one African savanna food chains, springboks eat the grass, and the lion hunts springboks for food. Also, look at the food chain up above. This is the one that has the mink in it. A mink might be an animal that you're not familiar with, but I think it's kind of similar to a weasel, like it's kind of a rodent-looking thing. Notice how the energy is transferred from living thing to living thing, and the arrows show you the direction that the energy is moving. Energy from food. Every living thing needs food in order to live. Food provides the nutrients plants and animals need to build and repair parts of their bodies. Food also provides energy or power. Without energy, plants cannot grow. Animals also use energy to grow, breathe, move, and do the things that allow them to survive. Think of 10 ways you use energy every day. Almost all the energy on Earth comes from sunlight. Green plants trap some of the sun's energy to turn it into food. They are the only living things that can make their own food using sunlight. When an animal eats a plant, the stored energy from the sunlight is passed on to that animal. The energy is passed along the food chain once more when other animals eat the first animal. Make sure that you're pausing the video as I read to add notes to your Cornell notes. Record things like facts you're learning, important vocabulary words, and questions. Your question could be something you're wondering about, something you'd like to learn more about, or it could be a teacher-like question. If it's a teacher-like question, you're putting yourself in the role of the teacher and asking a question to check for understanding. Energy lost along the way. There is a large amount of energy at the beginning of every food web, but much of it is lost as it passes from one living thing to another. An herbivore's body absorbs or takes in only a small amount of the energy stored in the plants it eats. A carnivore then absorbs a small amount of the energy in an herbivore's body. Fewer living things. The diagram below shows the levels of a food web. There are many plants on the first level because sunlight provides the energy plants need to survive. Fewer herbivores can survive than plants because energy is lost as it is passed along the food web. At the top of the pyramid, there is only enough energy to keep a few carnivores alive. Let's pay particular attention to the caption that goes with this energy pyramid. This diagram shows that because of energy lost, there are fewer living things at each level of a food web. It is called an energy pyramid because it is wide at the bottom and narrow at the top. Look back at your Cornell notes and make sure that you've included important facts from each page that I read to you. Write teacher-like questions or questions about topics you'd like to learn more about. Last, write a 1 or 2 sentence summary recording the most important things to remember from these 4 pages.